Good day, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Viper Viperland, and I'm back here in Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. We are still on Rise from the Ashes. This is a chapter. This is a chapter. I was warned ahead of time that this was a case. This is a case, man. We're still here. So thumbs. Oh yeah, also hey Crescent and Ramen, how you both doing? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Hope your hope Street Fighter 6 launch weekend's going well for you. I know a lot of people playing that this weekend. Pretty sure that's it's obvious. Yes, so of course. It's obvious Capcom put a lot of love and attention into that game, and it's paying off. Fans get a great game, Capcom gets money, everyone's happy. Awesome. It seems like a good time. And it's... even though I'm still probably not going to get it, at least not yet, World Tour, I am so happy that's there. I'm so happy they haven't forgotten the single player people. It's a big deal. A lot of fighting game people are nervous to go online and want to focus on like a single player content. Maybe not a lot, but a sizable amount. The casual audience, and it seems like they really hit that out of the park. It sounds like World Tour is a blast. I don't think I've heard a bad thing about it so far. I think somebody mentioned they feel like the ending was a little abrupt, but like, okay. I'm sure there's going to be DLC for it. I'm sure. They'd be fools not to. They'd be fools not to add more to that. Especially like as other characters come out. I assume as you get more characters, it'll add more to the world. That's just logical. I don't know, but that's just the logical way of doing it. Yeah, it seems like a great way to teach the game. You get to make your own character, you get to go open world and fight everyone. Like, you know. Who can't eat the neck because of living in the mountains? Yeah, exactly. See, it's clearly not a tacked on afterthought thing. They put effort into that. They put characterization into that. You learn about these characters as you go through the mode. And like, again, I still might not buy it, but I love that that's there. Like, I am a big fan. I just have a packed schedule right now. In 60p, it's just like playing back on the DS again. Exactly, Robin. Exactly. Oh boy. Yeah, those were the days. That's how I first played this game, so, like, I feel ya. Let's admit, I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say. So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No. I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, who, may I ask, is this person you're speaking of? Oh yeah, for argument's sake. Phone rate. Oh, I forgot that they put it on phones too, didn't they? Totally forgot about that. And yeah, I feel like they did a damn fine job scaling it for monitors. I miss the pixel art. I miss the pixel art. But also, I think it would look really weird on a modern monitor. So I get it. I understand why they did, and I think they did a great job capturing the sprites in line art. I think they did a great job. I do not think they screwed it up. It's just pixel art, man. Pixel art. She still looks good at this resolution. Yeah, exactly. Oh, also you watching on your phone. True. Yeah. 3D models. Oh yeah, no, like, they do a great job with it, but like, pixel art. What I'm supposedly so frightened of. What's this person's name? Meekins. Meekins? Meekins. 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 If they had an option for Phoenix, I would do that too, but obviously. PGA, yeah. Who, it's a ways off, but I'm also excited. I'm also very excited. Especially because there'll be a gap of games in between that we wouldn't have played. So it's, in terms of like game number, we're skipping a bunch to go to way more modern stuff all of a sudden then. We're all afraid of Meekins. I had fun with that clip. Alright, let's, yeah. Well, Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, you are addressing the chief prosecutor. Do not forget your place. I guess she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. you please tell me a bit more about what you think you know? Okay. We were partners until 2 years ago. Respected him as a detective. Assuming he is responsible, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did. Specifically, hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Grant's name was never mentioned? Every single time I want to call him Garnt. Or Grant. It's so close to Grant, it's so close to Garnt. He's either Gigik or just a dude named Grant. You know, Chief Grant. Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with the evidence was me. I had access because I was second in command of that investigation. Yes, you, but also one other. Eamon Gant. That's his real evil. His name. Gigik Wright. I'd buy it. Yeah. Oh man, I'm not going to do a full playthrough of the game, but when we finish all of our Phoenix Wright, I'm going to do 1 day of Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, so you can see what a knockoff third-rate Phoenix Wright looks like. They tried. They sure tried to be exactly Phoenix Wright at somehow half the budget of Phoenix Wright. And like a third of the talent. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Only proof that Chief Gant falsified evidence in that case. Oh, I don't remember. This was like 2 weeks ago. We took like a week off. It's got to be one of the newer ones, because it's got to be one of the ones we got from his office. Instincts say this? Yeah. If I'm wrong, she'll still recognize it. Not proof of the chief's wrongdoings? Here it is. That evidence proves someone is doing something wrong, all right. But it's not the chief. Who would that be? Why, you, of course. Me? Yes, you seriously believe what you're saying, don't you? Now that's scary. You seem to have the makings of a criminal in you, but with all your fallacious accusations. Care to spend tonight in the cell next to mine? You ask me, you're the scary one. Oh, so we got it wrong. Second nose while I ponder. This is definitely the downside to taking 2 weeks off, but I didn't really have a choice. I could not have narrated a full game after like 8 hours of karaoke. I couldn't have. I couldn't. It's just not possible. I don't think it's that one. Oh, can we actually... Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. I don't think that's it, though. It was the knife, right? It was specifically the knife. But I don't know if that's gonna... Here it is. Yeah, of course. The knife was definitely the one... Or was it the autopsy report about the knife? Nope, damn. Wrong on every single... Okay, well, then we're just gonna brute force this nonsense. I mean, I don't know if that's what they're looking for, but like... It was the knife, right? Like, I'm not remembering that bit wrong. The whole thing was that's the knife, but they found, like, the wrong bit in his body. The lost after 10 minutes, weapon found a wound was missing tip. I mean, why would I do that? Why would I ever read the text? I refuse to do the video again. I didn't try this one. Yeah. Okay. I showed the cloth for what it's worth. The hardest piece of cloth, found this in the safe. You know what these are? Pieces of evidence from the SO9 incident. Okay. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gart himself. I'm just gonna lean into it. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? I really hope I don't get angry YouTube comment from Giga. Like, why are you framing me as murder? The hell? Better than this. Touché, Mr. Wright. It's as you surmised. I cannot disobey the chief's orders, even if it means being found guilty for murder. Wow, he's got just a smidgen of too much power here. Why not? Well, Mr. Wright, you can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate. The murder of Detective Goodman, or perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car. Just as I suspected, despite what everyone believes, you're not the one who murdered Detective Goodman. Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk's lock was broken, and I discovered the murder weapon while inspecting the body. Murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife? No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it. Knife from the SL9 incident. Serial killer Joe Dark's knife. Couldn't just leave that knife in him. So I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. That would be Edgeworth's knife. That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. That's the reason for the bandage on your right hand. Yes, seems that I got blood on the victim's shoes as well. And then you saw me just as I plunged the knife in. A star, huh? Why did you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? Dark's knife. It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't even want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that, whatever means possible. So, you hid Dark's knife. The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joe Dark case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have a field day with that. So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it. Also, AOT, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Yourself while stabbing him. I mean, it was Edgeworth's knife, so probably not just clean, but meticulously clean. And Edgeworth's exhaust pipe. Right. Then I called my sister, tell her what happened, and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. I asked Emma. Didn't want anyone on the force to know about this. That would explain why Emma was so confident about Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day. Bad feeling? Truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gart, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall. Marshall? Why on earth would you call him? The lead investigator for the SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden, and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust. At least I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own. Oh, you mean, not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. He disguised himself as Detective Goodman and tried to steal the evidence. He had already stolen the ID card, but it seems he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. So, your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room. afraid that's all I can tell you. But Lana, you've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. Tomorrow's trial, there's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. You've got to get to the bottom of everything. Oh, yeah, just stop doing your job here. Find out that there's a big conspiracy where, like, the chief of police is involved in all of this stuff and is a really shady, awful demon. And just back off. Yeah, okay, sure. And watch an innocent woman go to jail for murder? Detective Goodman's real murderer. What went down in the chief's office 2 years ago? We continue. Well, so she's trying, but can't stop, won't stop. Oh man, you ready for me to get everything wrong again? I'm ready. February 25th, 9:47 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 2. This is the defendant lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. I'm trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? Where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth. Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number is, that is. Well, a pretty strong hunch. Excuse me. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. No, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If the number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. Minutes right, and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But she didn't do it! You didn't say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. Truth. Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. No, it's stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. Depends on you. If he's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. Now think about it. See you in court, right? But we're already in court. He's gone. To show the judge every piece of evidence on file to accidentally choose the right one. Damn right, that's the Viperland special there. This is it. If I'm ever going to find, it's the Viperland secret technique. If we're going to find out what Chief Gart has on her, it's now. It's a shotgun approach. Just try everything. February 25th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. When's Con? The convention? Late July. It's like the weekend of like the 21st or so of July. So more than a month. More than a month. About a month after 16. Court is now... Like, I could check the actual date, but I don't want to click off the game. Stop trying to convince the judge. Yeah, exactly. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Yeah, he would, wouldn't he? Chief Gart. Actual relevant evidence on the back of one of those receipts. Oh yeah, of course. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Udgy, been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. Don't mind me asking, Chief. Exactly what is this proposal of yours? He's got such a Muppet face. It's just Lana, that is to say the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. Yeah, if he's requesting it, then I doubt any of this. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Ah, of course. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana! Well, what this means is, Garnt's afraid. He knows that if this trial plays out, we got him. We got him. He knows that. You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But, Lana! Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. The request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. Very, very strongly otherwise. This can't be happening. It appears the time for this verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant... Objection! Damn right, objection. One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Garnt. What? Getting another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal? Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh, to whom? Edgeworth is great. As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. Edgeworth being a bro is great. Edgeworth coming through where it matters. Good stuff. Good stuff. It's okay with you, right, Chief Guard? Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Yeah, there's already been a lot of good Edgeworth bits. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. Occupation? I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. Yet, neither have I, so it's going to be a fun time. Also, this was added after the game released. This was added for the DS release in English, and I guess probably in Japanese too, but this case was not in the original Game Boy version of the game. So, one gets 2 final cases, yeah. Sorry. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. It is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago. Really all that relevant? Judge, didn't we just have a case like this 3 months ago, or a case 10 years ago was actually what was going on, and it was all relevant? Just calm your beard. Let's go. Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. You're giving fast, yeah. The judge way prefers Edgeworth. Way prefers Edgeworth. Please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Also going to lead us to the tea. American Ninja Warrior, don't you mean drastically worst MXC? I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. You guys saw the story slips on the first obstacle? Yeah, of course. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. Passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? It will soon become apparent, Your Honor. Gotta admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Yeah, see that? And even then, they do it in like a sentence or two. They're like, I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm here for blah. Woo! Done. Done. Guy Ledouche would not take that amount of bullshittery from those people. At all. And we know it. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes, she was a second in command of the then Deputy Chief of Police Guard. My sister, she was the best detective ever. Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gart and Miss Skye used to be quite the pair. I believe they shared the same office. That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day, too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work. Man? Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Skye in Garnt's office. There's a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. What was the prosecutor doing there? That day, there were 2 people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gart and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Almost forgot about Gart. Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assumed that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark. When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead. That's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in. I don't clearly remember what happened then, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. Yeah. Why would I change the paper up? You definitely can't see it on the camera, but it's definitely like bent a little bit. It's got a little bit of a stain on it. Because I just kind of toss it off camera when I'm done. It's fine. It is the same sheath of paper, so how many we got here? 4, I think. 1, 2, yeah, 4 papers. It's not terribly beaten up, but like, I'm clearly not going out of my way to keep it pristine either. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out. The lights? Just about this time of year, there was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby. Just blank roughed up paper on the wall. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. It was pitch dark in that room. You shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then the lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. Let's see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, that Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Most expensive frame possible, definitely, yeah. 100%, yeah. So, you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw. Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? This picture the witness drew, I believe it has a very important meaning. The list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added the statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right? So I wanted to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can still see it now whenever I close my eyes. That's strange. I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died, yet I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken? But I did draw it, I swear. I'm not just imagining it. Picture that Emma drew. That reminds me. Guess I should check the evidence again. Well, anyway, let's continue. The scene that imprinted an image on your mind. Can you please describe it to us? Man. That must have been a real shock. Even now, when I close my eyes, I can still see it just as clearly. Tell us, what were you doing at the moment? I believe you testified that Joe Dark was holding you hostage. The lightning struck and the lights went out. Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. I was thrown aside and the two began wrestling each other. Pretty sure I was watching them. Emma doesn't have any reason to lie, but Lana sure does. I need to get Emma to tell me as much about this as she can. Yeah, so... Nope, didn't mean to press. To present that. Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl pulled all her heart into drawing that picture, and yet you would insist on denying its existence. Phoenix, I'm trying to help you here. What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold, this is the evidence list for the SO9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over, turn it... Ah! What's this? So, yeah, that's the thing. They both keep taking jabs at each other just because it's fun at this point. Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? Is this all you to the pick? Oh, I'd have more fun personally, but order. But, Miss Skye, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? That's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... You're all right, Mr. Wright. Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, maybe I should just... And there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite conceivable. Mr. Edgeworth? Possible. Let's see. That reaction. That reaction face is so good. Is something wrong? You're gonna have to ask. Sorry, Your Honor. There's indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It just says Edgeworth sucks. It's got Larry Butts' signature. It's that thing. What? What? Game, no. Stop. That's that thing. Thing that was dancing in the evidence room. Clearly this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. Yes, he was out of scrap paper. Evidence list restored and updated in the court records. Very well, witness. Do those line up now? That, oh my goodness, is this going to be some big important part of the case? Oh. Okay. Okay. How could you, Robin? Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seems to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder Prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Did you draw this picture right after the incident? I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Skye. 2 or 3 days later, memory should still have been fresh in our mind. Excuse me, witness. Can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? Yep, flash of lightning, so bright. Clearly. OG lore. I still can't believe they're making a Five Nights at Freddy's movie when a better Five Nights at Freddy's movie already exists. What's it, like Wally's World? The one with Nicolas Cage. It's so good. I mean, it's still clearly selling at least some. I think the way younger kids, like, again, Calico's an elementary school teacher, so I hear some stories, and my nephew, the things that he knows. I think people have moved past Five Nights at Freddy's name to other games in that vein. So, like, here's a horror story with a deep back, like, story to it, but also it's really just jump scares. Woogity woogity woo. I know there's several other notable ones whose names escape me now, and I think they've moved on to almost like creepypastas. Like, apparently a lot of people know Sonic.exe, like elementary school kids, which I wouldn't expect, personally, myself, but apparently that's like a thing. While I never ended up being a fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's games, I absolutely commend them on getting the most scares for, like, the lowest budget. Like, that OG game had a budget of nothing and was absolutely scary. Was it cheap scares in my opinion? Yeah, but Its goal was to get you to jump, and it did that with methodical efficiency, and I give it all the credit in the world for that. It's blown up way past that, and cool, there's lore and people like it. It wasn't for me because it was very good at scaring me, so I didn't want to play it anymore. Like, I'm not even going to pretend like, oh, I'm better than that. No, I'm not. I'm too scared for that, so I didn't play it anymore. Yes, correct. I do prefer my horror more long, drawn-out, emotional, suspenseful horror as opposed to... I think I've said this on stream before, but Five Nights at Freddy's is a game of perfection. I don't know if anybody remembers that game, because I'm old. Perfection was a little board with cutouts in it, and little plastic pieces that fit in those cutouts. And you'd start a timer, you had a little egg timer built in, and you had to put the pieces in the right spot. And if the timer went off before you finished, all the pieces, like, it just, like, shoved them up in your face. That is Five Nights at Freddy's. It is a puzzle game that gets you to focus on the puzzle. You have to do this. You have to keep that door clear. You have to keep that door clear. You have to turn on that light. You have to check the cameras. It's a puzzle game where the failure state is a jump scare. And it's so good at that. It is crazy good at that. Getting you to focus that hard on the game makes the jump scare that much better. It is brutally efficient. That's just not what I want out of my horror. Or out of my puzzle games, for that matter. For me personally. It's just not what I want. Clearly a lot of people did. A ton of YouTubers got famous because of it. The guy who makes it's making tons of money and keeps making games. I've got no beef with that. It's just not my thing. However, that movie was really good. The Nicolas Cage movie, so good. But it's not technically a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Oh man, Mousetrap. I never played a game of Mousetrap. My brothers and I would just build the Rube Goldberg device and set it off. I never actually played the game, associated with it, but I definitely had Mousetrap, for sure. But we would just build the thing and watch it go, because Rube Goldberg devices are fun. Glad Potts is playing Street Fighter and not here with a stopwatch. So at that time, you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue. No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor. Knocked to the floor? Mark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around. That's when the lightning flashed. Gives the click, yeah. Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed? You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? No. Sorry. The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. You really need to torture this girl any further. What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here! Anyway, this picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course, this is the exact scene. Wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives? Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. Watch out, you might find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Huh? Oh, well. It's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted on her mind, and yet there's clearly a contradiction here. Is there? I mean, there must be. So it's got to be this. We're going to preemptively save, but I'm going to really take a look at the... Like, I don't want a shotgun approach unless I have no other ideas. So, we can safely say not that. Honestly, I still think that, like, this is the whole picture. That's not what they're looking for. I think that would be it. Single stab wound, piercing heart long, died from blood loss and determinants. Open found, wound was missing tip. 7:30. I think that. I mean, I guess you could argue it could still hit harder one from there, so I don't think that's the one. There must be. The game says there is. So there must be. We are getting ever closer to the Vapor reads all the out of context quotes stream. We are way closer than not, honestly. I don't think it's this. I don't think that does it. I refuse to watch the tape again. Glove. Tip was found in the victim's body. It's got to be one of the newer pieces. Yeah, like it's not going to be one of these older pieces of evidence. It's got to be this. It can't be this. I saved. It's fine. Nope. Yep. Cool. Autopsy report's the only other one I can think of. Okay. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture of the witness drew. It's my other thing to go with, but I should have just gone with this one. It needs a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out that— oh no, I don't know where it is. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? I mean, I'm just gonna pick the chest, because like if a knife is coming from up above and he's blocking his chest, it would probably make it hard for the knife to look at the report. No. I don't think I can right now, actually. So, we're kind of stuck here. I think it's— okay, it's not. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, stabbed in the back. Yeah. That's where it said back. I was like, okay. Still don't know where to point to for that, though. The knife? Contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. It looks like a piece of chalk. Who draws a knife like a piece of chalk? If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. But, Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was a conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple. Where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. Yet the victim was only stabbed once. The murder weapon should not yet be broken. Ah, see, honestly, I just thought that was her way of drawing the knife. I wouldn't have thought that was the broken tip there. Like, for real, I thought that was just... She drew, like, stick figures, so you draw the knife as, like, a piece of chalk or something. Like, it's a blade. I honestly wouldn't have put that together myself. Like, for real, I'm gonna fully admit, I just chalked that up to style of the drawing. I'm glad we got it, though. Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. How else are you gonna get the inside someone's body? Okay, be nice for the paper. It was broken beforehand. It couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right. But what does this mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time. She was sure she remembered correctly. There's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There's another explanation. Have you forgotten already? But a little something called falsified evidence. You're treading on thin ice, Wright. All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Ugh. Order, order, order! Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It's my belief that somewhere in the story there's a lie. Not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. That's true. There's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? The broken knife, besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? No, there could be. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by simple observational error. Mr. Wright. That instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume, then, that you have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. Edgeworth's knife! It's just like, ooh! Makes it thought we were working together! Oh, man. It's gotta be that, right? The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here, inside this picture. This is a picture of the award. So, what is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding? You can tell in this photograph I'm holding. It's not a bunch of papers. It's definitely a photograph. See? You can see it's a photograph because the photograph is on my side of it, so that's just the back of the photo, so you can tell it's a photograph. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Clearly. Order, order! Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. Hit that side, hit the top side, hit all the sides. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. His broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors' award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh! Prosecutor was the one who actually died. It's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Wait, I remember now. I remember everything. Witness? Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? It's list? Don't have that picture scribbled on the back? I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. They play the music again, those bastards. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. Must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Skye? Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up, and now the blue badger? This should be interesting. I saw that man raise his knife. I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. It wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw a shadow. This is certainly most unusual. Right? Impossible. Chief of Detectives hadn't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Oh, please, don't pursue this any further. Lana, what's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. You can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Skye. You've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. Seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. That was recollection. When you say that man, do you mean Oscar Cruz? I assume you're referring to that man. Yes, at least I think it was him. You think? All I could really see were shadows. Power outage that immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office reports. So the new... Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. He seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife, but as we just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that Dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was, I've got to help that other person. What do you mean, you think? It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur. Skye was almost killed before she was witness to a murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural. Yeah, I'd say. Saw the man about to stab the other person who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I know I had to stop the man with the knife. What you did was very brave, young girl. So then what happened next? Are you sure about this? Of course. See? I even drew a picture of him here. But it was the chief of detectives who thought up this hideous beast. That was just this year. Blue Badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable. Well, that sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him somewhere before. Then I finally remember. Brother, just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion, tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing? Shadow? You mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. May well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh, but I suppose you have an explanation? If so, then by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was. What was it Emma saw when the lightning flashed? What is this blue badger really? This might know. Blue badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture, yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger, something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright. This room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us the mysterious blue badger look-alike. Mysterious blue badger was in fact this. But that's... what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar? But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed, it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? I have to show them the correct angle to look at this from. Oh, we're going to manipulate it in 3D? Hell yeah, we are! Oh man, alright. Okay, rotate. There you go. Is it more... I want to get the angle wrong. I feel like that's about... Those are too far to the side there. I mean, this side's not bad either. They're gonna get mad at me if I get it wrong. I feel like this side's got the blood stain, so that's useful. But also... Design Viper in action, yeah. RTX, ah! Yeah. I'm gonna go with my first instinct, which was this way. And if it's not it, we'll go from there. My first instinct is that. Don't know. I don't think that's what... This isn't right. I've got to make it look... Okay. Got it. Allow me to remind the defense, its case hinges on the witness's drawing. Mr. Wright can't match the shape the witness drew. We cannot accept his claims. Okay, just the right angle. We're gonna save here because this might... This is fine. I don't want to lose because of this. Come on, Mr. Wright, you can do it! Yeah. It's gotta... Maybe it had to be more like that. I feel like it's not far off from what I had, but it gives it the much more defined pom-pom at the top. Still has the downward... it doesn't quite get the downward shape of the ears. Very clown, yeah. I feel like that's reasonable, but I guarantee it's not. Hey! Well, is this a miracle or what? Okay, so I had it right, I just didn't tilt it quite far enough the first time. My initial instinct wasn't far off. One can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the blue badger. No. It cannot be! Order, order! The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this... Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything. The music disagrees with you, Edgeworth. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed. Very well then. Please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar? The murder weapon. I'm gonna go with the murder weapon. Allow me to take these in. The moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. Very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Garnt. The body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, it's these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. See, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief Garnt's office. You implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Garnt's office to Lana Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, we wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? I figured it out. This is why Lana tried to stop the trial. Too late to quit now, though. Please, recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. The next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? Ah, a suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous-looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. Snake hair and snakehead? No, there's not. Is there? Oh, I guess so. The smallest. Just the smallest bit. Okay, do you know what? That's gonna bother people, so I'm gonna fix that real quick. Fix the hair. There you go. We good? We good. Somehow the lower res made it more obvious. Alright, fixed. Cool. We're good. Can't see any flesh tones behind the hair. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes, there's another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility.
It's magic.
Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what is the matter? If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, filming the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No, I mean, that's messed up. She's had it hard enough already. Never imagined her testimony would lead to this. It was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. What are you saying? Sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How could you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin this crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? Yes. Willing to bet you don't. How much are you willing to bet? Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If you don't have evidence, you will have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. Certainly can't get dead people to testify. This had all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Touché, Miss Skye. Of course. Well, it leaves us with one possibility. I mean, there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. May have left behind the name of the person who took his life. In one manner or another. That's impossible. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind is in the evidence. 11037, definitely. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, please stop at nothing to prove my sister's a murderer. Do not be mistaken, Miss Skye. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There's only one thing we seek, the truth. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. This is the message from the deceased. Right. Now then, this is the message from the judge. What? Okay, that was good. Was it really not that? Oh, I guess that wasn't right. If a person left behind a message, it would have to be in written form. So illogical. Man, it's clearly the handprint. It's clearly the handprint. Better be careful, you might wind up deceased yourself. It's clearly the handprint on the leather. Come on. It's her fingerprints. Stop. It's obviously that. Screw you, King. It's obviously that. Come on! Clear handprint can be seen on the leather cloth. The print belongs to Emma. Oh. This is the message from the judge. God damn it. That was so brutal. That was so brutal. Alright, now I have to actually think. I was absolutely sure that was the case, so I actually have to look at evidence now. I was so sure that was the evidence. I must be like one step ahead or something. Half a step. He doesn't even jump. His arm just extends and slaps it out of my hand. Disgusting. Hilarious and disgusting. Okay, so if it's not piece of cloth, it can't be the evidence list. That's just the art. He wasn't alive for that, so it cannot be that. Yes, this shows that he was wearing a leather vest, so I guess that could theoretically tie into that. Down to the back, down from puncture, heart and lung, knife tip in the wound. These. I refuse to look at the video again. Refuse. It's not that. I refuse. I didn't. Unless that's supposed to like spell something out in the right direction. It definitely looks intentional. It's got to be like a angle you can view that from that says something. It's got to be that then. That's the only other thing I can think of that would be, it's got bloody... The video reviews. This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right? I fully expected. This is the message left by the judge. She shut down again. Is he going to just speak the killer's name? That thing could, I'm sure it would. It's like everyone's forgotten that this is just a jar. A message was left here, on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. It looks like somebody wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there's a line here, drawn in blood. So what you're saying is these dots were once lines. Secretary Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away. Blood must have seeped into the jar where the lions changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect to these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. No. Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us, Your Honor? I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. Gotta connect these dots to make letters. There's only one thing the victim would have written, given the circumstances. His murderer's name. Well... Do I have to connect this? They're gonna get mad at me if I don't. No. Well, there's literally any brain power to figure out this time, yeah. The defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye. Well, Seaworthy, can't say I didn't warn you. We definitely helped out people in this case. You've guarded. Do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in that case, were you not? Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. Wow, yeah, he was definitely aware of all of this, and it definitely had nothing to do with you, you shit-eel. Crap! But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We aren't defenders of justice. Yeah, it's obvious. Especially you. What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Yeah, then you shouldn't sentence people to death. You should have just put them in prison. Forever. Yes, even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. So he was just... So, man, no matter what happens, Garnt wins and Edgeworth gets screwed. Cool. What's going on? How can he just stand there? Order! Order! I didn't hit those. Those are just going. That's just mumbling. Gavels pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. To be continued. Really? Really? Jeez. Yeah, let's save it. If we don't finish this case tonight, I will be actually shocked. Legitimately shocked. Six hours ago. Yeah, you know. February 25th, 12:06, District Court Defendant Lobby Number 2. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? Got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. To top it off, you call me here? I've seen happier people at funerals. Take it Lana's having you run errands again. I tell you that this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give you this if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Is that like Lawyer 101 level book? Evidence law. Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the two rules of evidence law. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. You're right, Mr. Wright. Seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. Chief Prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Evidence law securely slipped into pocket. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the Chief Prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, Detective. Haven't you figured it out yet? I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me. Mr. Edgeworth, real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility has been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she's unwittingly caused a man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. It means the real killer is still out there. What? But we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Yeah, this is all... It starts now. Ugh. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions, which you had no knowledge of and have clearly been used just to screw you over. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well... Normally, this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but, this isn't easy to say. You see, there's some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, stuck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witness. I didn't say that! It's just, you see, everyone has been talking, and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all future witnesses. But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Oh, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Oh, no. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. And so, the defense may now call forth the next witness, Mr. Wright. You do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls... I mean, it's gotta be Garnt, right? It's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Gotta be Garnt. The urge to use Bruce Goodman is so strong. It's so strong. Damon Garnt. The defense calls Damon Garnt to the stand. Damon Garnt? What does he have to do with anything? It's the defendant's partner 2 years ago. He knows who killed Goodman. Exactly. Thinking ahead. Mr. Garnt has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. This is factual. He clearly hates you, Edgeworth. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right. Bailiff, please escort Mr. Garnt into the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What's this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Garnt. Fine. My name is Damon Garnt. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Garnt, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SO9 incident. Permanent resident in your brain yet? No, just the first notes. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Certainly, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There's still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? You mean, like, figurative weapons, right? Like the ability to, like, manipulate evidence and put pressure on different people to do different things. He's like, no. Weapons. Sure, take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Bull crap. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. It will be 100% truthful and perfectly fine. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? And he was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. Alright. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was the defendant, Lana Skye, also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. So, the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first, so Neil and I split up. He went upstairs, and I went downstairs, I guess you could say. We got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden, and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went through his heart, though. It's not funny. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor. Damn it, lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor. And yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, you must have already known what her sister had done. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. So that means... you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier. It was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office. That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. How it really went down? Staring at the witness won't you do any good, Mr. Wright. Going to stare at anything. You're better off staring at the court record. Worthy, always the smooth talker. Which piece of evidence ties Garton to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Garton to the incident. That'll be this. Or maybe the other one, depending. We should read this. Rules for submitting evidence. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Okay. Crap. So if we try to show a thing, he can just go, no, I don't approve. I, as the chief of police, don't approve of that. Alright. I mean, we can always make the argument something's relevant, but he can disapprove, and that's kind of that. Chief got safe. I mean, we found 3 of these pieces in his safe. We already save. I'm gonna save anyway, but I feel like it's relatively safe to pick basically any of the pieces found in his safe. I think the jar is the most relevant, but it seems reasonable that any of the pieces found in his safe with his combination claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Guard, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Guard, what's the meaning of this? Oh, what did you call me? Here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery. Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Oh, no. Poor guy. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, in relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My, kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Yeah, we do, but 2 and 2 equals your jail time, and you're trying to tell us it equals 57. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when these pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. I mean, but at the same time, Ochi, whose word are they going to believe? The chief of police? Or a detective who's so close to being fired? One person who's already basically admitted to being involved with evidence forging, even though they didn't forge evidence, the court doesn't seem to care, and a fairly rookie attorney. So, like... Also, Eric, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Okay. Summer game show time. Oh, Wednesday is also the Monster Hunter event, the final Rise event. That I'm looking forward to. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. When investigating the crime scene, we should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Oh, indeed, I believe I'll press charges so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Udgy. In return, though, I know. That place, right? Huh? What are these guys telepathic? I mean, we didn't, but I'd appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped... Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Righto's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal. You can face anyone as slimy as this guy. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course, but suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, Righto. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient, right? The Chief is talking about a possibility. So long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Only something I don't know. Come now, Redo. Think about it. Yeah, if the timing works out, it'll be nice. Can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm sure I care for the word murder here, but in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Really, Chief Guard? At the very least, there's one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Funny. Is it low pre-order sales? Admittedly, I haven't pre-ordered it yet, but I should just get it loaded. I will when it gets closer. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? Yes, they did. And also, like, not everybody pre-orders stuff. Even a game that looks this good, like, people are slowly starting to wise up to the don't pre-order stuff message, which is good. I am very pro don't pre-order things. Giving, like, this is one I feel confident in pre-ordering, but I've definitely pre-ordered things that I wasn't confident in and got burned pretty hard sometimes. As we all have. I think we all have horror stories of, oh, I pre-ordered a thing and it came out and it was awful. Mighty Number 9 or whatever. But, I don't know. I've heard no Doom myself, and I'm not really going to look into any, like, I don't want to hear good or bad about the game till I play it at this rate. Like, I've seen enough trailers, I'm going to play it, and I'm going to play it. So, like, I have not been seeking out any other news whatsoever. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police. The resolution of the SO9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient reason. Oh, ho, ho. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Without the case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SO9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes. It's going to be made chief anyway. Be careful in pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Archie, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. I feel like having all of this power of the chief of prosecutors probably would be something in it for you. Nothing in it for you. Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. Seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, ho, ho. Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? I mean, true, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to betray the chief. It's a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. I meant... Too late to get off Mr. Nomura's wild ride. I mean, you know... Well then, who is this person you believe Chief Garnt may have helped forge the evidence? Well, I mean... Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye, the defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. But Meekins! Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister Lana? And as for Chief Garnt, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, I'm going to keep slapping this paper to make Viper keep picking it up every time he puts it down. Lana Skye was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the Prosecutor's Office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Garnt. But would he profit from all this? He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. You mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Yes. That's the takeaway. That's it. Even they even pan out to utter silence in the courtroom. I never actually got a ton of steelbooks. I think I've only got 2. I've got Final Fantasy 15. I'm gonna hold up to the camera, even though I know damn well it's just gonna like white it out with the light. But like I've got the 15 steelbook, and I've got Monster Hunter Sunbreak steelbook because I wanted that special edition for the amiibo. I think those are the only 2 I've got. Oh wait, you must mean puppets and somebody forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her. Yeah, correct, Ochi. 100%. Right on, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana, keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Garnt. Afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless it is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? Also, Judge just going to overlook the blatant threat against somebody in the courtroom? Okay. What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Garnt is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his own involvement. What? 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 Order, order, order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest-ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. And as we all know, higher rank and higher power means that you just can't be corrupt or do anything wrong. As the saying goes, power grants innocence to people and has no corrupting influence whatsoever. The higher the level of the power, the least corrupt the person would be. And would never ever use that power for bad. The absolute power corrupts never, yeah. Yeah. You accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder? That's impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. I mean, you both decided at the beginning of this day. You prove this, Mr. Wright, that the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder. Question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Garnt is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. See. Alright then, let's see what Mr. Wright's got. It better be good. Got one or two ideas as to what it might be. A miserable little pile of secrets, but enough talk. How about you? Show us this evidence that ties Chief Garnt to the murder of Detective Goodman. It's this, right? Gotta be that one. Oh, this is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 777-7777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. That face gets me all the time, but it's the perfect one for this exact moment. Like, it's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Garnt's office requires a code to open. It is such a good face. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 777-7777. Same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Garnt, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. He's starting to sweat. Mm-hmm. Order! Order! Chief Garnt, what do you have to say? Nothing. Defense's search in my office was in violation of regulations. I will demand Mr. Wright to be punished to the maximum extent of the law. Right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Edgeworth over here like, yes, Wright has been a naughty boy and I will deal with that later, but right now you've been naughtier. Chief, go ahead, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room the day of the crime. What about it? I'm chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days, Chief Garnt? I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. I feel like we've long since passed that point, Your Honor. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Garnt met with the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Garnt on the day of the crime. Do we have that? I mean, we obviously do. Not the ID. Not the trophy. Not the murder weapon, wouldn't make sense. Not the parking stove. Badger. Don't think it's this. I mean, that could be it. Save always. I can't save right now, though, so it's fine. Worst case, we'll save after we get one knocked off. It's not the cell phone. I want full friends, no. Brown photo, no. Victim shoe, no. Switch with a knife, definitely not. Damn it. We know that was the actual murder weapon, but we can't can't really say that. I wonder if... No. We already used that. I wonder if the screwdriver will have any purpose, but not right now. Ah. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that... he would have... Try that one the second time. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure he filled it. He filled it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to. Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Ah. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Guard. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. Accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait, the chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes, now that you mention it. Wow, Your Honor. Shut up. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. Oh, jeez. Yay. Chief Gart, you didn't. The murder was most likely a spur of the moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. Edgeworth with the guts. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. I'm forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office park. Oh, yeah, I guess the other bit wasn't a flashback. Whoops. I just see the black and white and I assume flashback voice. They managed to move it there. It was at the police department the entire day, you know. Everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. No one except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Well, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, Hugh, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Camp, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. All this time, I thought it was a useless clue. Just take... Oh, God, it's the freaking... Yep. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. Or Chief Gant, even. A screwdriver. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? Screwdriver. But what does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing here? Here because... I was asked to go by Chief Gart, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. You did, because Chief Gart asked you to. You mean, The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car! Yeah, Oscar are cruising. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes, unless of course you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. Transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Alana Skye. Order, order, order! What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It's a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Garth, please say something. Mitz, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Objection indeed. How you doing? Hope you're enjoying your weekend. Congrats on finishing Tears of the Kingdom and all of its linky goodness and Zelda-y goodness. Hope it was, I mean, you put 300 hours in. You don't do that unless you're having a good time. So, I assume it was a great time. Also, obviously, thank you for 72 gosh dang objection months. It was so close. You feel empty now. I'm sorry. I mean, I got nothing for you. I got nothing. You could, there's always 14, not 14, sorry, Final Fantasy 16 coming out. The problem doesn't throw her in prison. I believe your time's up. My time's up. Sorry, Fredo, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're to make it on time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. We literally are, we have like, you're the murderer! No, you can't go to lunch. Remember what I told you earlier? This way. The police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. That's not a right to be casually invoked. It is if you're a criminal. I'll say, Grim, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Yeah, this courtroom. There's certain risks to be considered. Yeah, yeah. I'm just not going to testify. Lunchtime. Bye. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman, that's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had allowed to dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. Say it again, Mr. Wright. Eamon Garnt is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. 2 hours later, whole tour mode, MSQ done. Jeez, not bad. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honor, do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Garnt murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body. Do you have any concrete proof? I don't think we do. This still hasn't come up, so it's obviously going to be something, but I don't know if that's concrete proof. I'm gonna say we have proof, but can't let him just squirm his way out of this. Gotta keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor, I do have such evidence. Then please hurry up and present it. Just remember, you better prove Chief Garnt murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt. Evidence law. These two still haven't come up. I don't know if we're ever going to have to present that, but... Specific proof that he murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's a shame we can't dust this for prints. It's a shame. It's a loss of blood, one knife wound. Clearly, I mean, obviously, but we can't skip that many steps yet. Oh yeah, it's important to just have him shuffle through his pockets. No idea what proves that he murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt. Cloth is for the... It's weird that this hasn't come up yet, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's what this is. It's not the drawing. Don't think it's evidence law. Just a hunch. I don't think it's the team photo. I highly doubt that it's relevant to this one. That shouldn't be it. I hope it's not the security video, because I don't want to do that again. Marshall's fingerprint. That was his locker, wasn't it? No, can't actually do anything, just look at it. That was his locker, and it was already opened, but... Anything here besides that tag? Oh yeah, obviously, yeah. Don't know. I'm gonna have to shotgun it. I truly don't know. I just don't know. Like, I feel like we can always safely count out Attorney's badge. Goodman's ID doesn't make any sense. Especially because we know that was tied to Officer Marshall. I don't think the trophy would matter. I feel like the trophy is really only there to show us the difference between it and the one in the photo so that we could see the broken halberd tip. I feel like that's safely not it. We know he didn't use the knife. Lana did, so it's not the knife. I don't think him getting Edgeworth to park somewhere is going to do anything. I mean, unless it's something to do with the handprint on the face, like maybe the murder happened here. Well, we know that the Blue Badger was dancing in the patrol office, or in the evidence room at the time of this, so I guess we could make the argument that the handprint on the face could have been from this, but there's no precedent for that one yet. I'm going to say we can safely count that out. Goodwin's autopsy. 36 male, 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. Loss of blood from chest wound. No stab weapons found. I don't know if we can count that out. Honestly, I don't know if we can count this one out. I don't have any further evidence for it. It was found in the trunk, which is weird. That one's always been a bit weird. Not the cell phone. It's not the parking lot floor plans. Couldn't be. We got maybe 2 pieces here, with a stupid possible stretch on 3, but it seems unlikely. Definitely not the crime photo. Not the victim's shoe. See, we know that's what he was stabbed with, but we can't prove that. Lana admitted that that's what he was stabbed with. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to not do that. At the very least, I'm trying to, like, narrow it down. So it's a targeted guess instead of a random guess. But we can't prove it, even though we know this knife was the actual murder weapon. We can't prove it. Lana's not going to come to our aid. Absolutely not. Pretty sure the testing fluid we can't show us evidence. Same with the fingerprint set. I mean, we know the time works out for this one, but I don't think we have anything further on this. Just going, no, look at the sheet again. I don't think that's it. Screwdriver's already done, unless there's some other thing for it. Same with the lost item report. That's done. I don't think there's anything here. So we know where the body was killed because of the blood. I don't think the rubber glove. All I had is the tag. I refuse to believe it's a security video. I refuse. Utterly refuse. I keep coming back to the switchblade. Clearly. I don't think it's right, but it's the one that seems the most right to me. I don't think it's right, though. So, what exactly is this evidence? It's proof as to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate the chief's guilt. I'll let you be the judge. But I am the judge. Alright. Well, what do you think, Your Honor? What I think, Mr. Wright, is I'm going to be late for lunch. Yeah, guess it wasn't enough. Okay. That was the one that I felt the most like it was. Again, Chief of Police. Proof that he murdered him and made Miss Sky dispose of his body. We hit no proof yet. They're showing evidence. I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. First, I have no conclusion. This is just going to end here, right? COG? In that case, yep. This court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, right out? Seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Hey, LG, I'll leave the rest to you. Yeah, that's the obvious bad end. Okay, I just had to see. It's the obvious bad end, though. What you earlier, Mr. Wright? This is an affront to the senior officer of our nation's law enforcement agency. Wow. Lady Luck. Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. Lady who knows the truth. Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gart has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? You asking me, Your Honor? That was the answer. Yeah, like, after I was like, none of this is conclusive, I figured I'd give it a shot. You've forgotten. The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? Absolutely, but she might not be willing to tell the truth. But we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor, the defense calls forth Bruce Goodman. They really do condition you to just never say no. I'll say, Rose, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. I mean, I definitely went with that the first one, but like I'll take the hit because that really forced me to go through with a fine-tooth comb and be like, there's not conclusive evidence. So I'm glad I picked the wrong answer, if that makes any sense. Defendant, Miss Alana Sky. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth. Prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. Excuse me. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now... Hold on. Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. Wow, this doesn't seem like suspicious at all. It definitely doesn't seem like he's going to threaten somebody right here in the middle of the court. And the judge is going to be like, wow, that sounds like a really smart thing for him to say. Cool, yeah, yeah, that's great. Different from other cases. Yeah, for sure. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible He's literally threatening somebody on the stand. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Also, hey Seventh, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Honestly, like, I understand why Lana is doing the things Lana is doing. But at some point, I would just want to smack that smugness off his face, and right now is the time to do that. If ever there was a time to be like, no, this has gone on too far. If I'm going down, he's coming with me. Now's that time, Lana. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, Judge, he just straight up threatened the witness we were about to call in front of you. blatantly, and you got nothing. The court is now in recess. Cool. Thanks, Judge, you blind bastard. February 25th, 2:04 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 2. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. Hey, Chief, you something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe! I'm not a detective anymore. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. Your office! My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. What do you mean... Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Garnt's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? Because he has all the power and everyone lets him get away with everything. Ooh, it's mysterious how he pulled it off. Crazy. Not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. I agree. Settle down, right? Remember what the judge said. Yeah, we gave this man unimaginable power over the law proceedings and court system here, and then it's a shock that he constantly gets what he's looking for. But Chief, it's not a right to be casually invoked. There's a certain risk to be considered. Risks. What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything, too? Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery, so she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. I think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man, and she did it all just to protect me. But since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Garnt's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It's all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. You want to blame anyone? Blame society, pal! Chief Garnt may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Oh, better get back. It's time for the final act. But why don't you wait? No, going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, right? It's time to end this. She lives in a society. Absolutely he does. Society's fault, pal. Alright. Oh boy. February 25th, 2:21 p.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 9. Will the defendant, Miss Alana Skye, please take the stand? Miss Alana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you're under oath. It's never stopped anyone from lying before, and it sure won't now, but just remember, you said you'd tell the truth. You said it. I want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Yeah, you can't lie about not lying, obviously, yeah. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Garnt. It hinges on your testimony. The only chance we have to get Garnt. Garnt and the fabrication. I worked alongside Garnt for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. The only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Wow, that's just lies all the way down. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana! This is true. That means Chief Garnt has nothing to do with this. But I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you gotta help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. But what if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Well. No, you didn't. How many years exactly? You've never seen each other before. Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years. Detective Garnt and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. Must have been good, coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Garnt was a respectable detective, that's why. Yeah, I'm sure respectable is definitely the big word you use to describe him, but think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. That's true. He was already dead, but she's not lying. Oh, yes, Mitz. It's because the YouTuber who does the channel Giguk, real name is Garnt. And I kept screwing it up so many times that I've just leaned into it, and now this is Garnt. Giguk is on trial. I've leaned into my mistakes, and we're just sticking with it. I am aware it's wrong, but I kept getting it wrong so many times accidentally that now I'm just doing it on purpose. I appreciate the heads up, but I'm aware. I still appreciate the heads up. If it was a mistake, I'd want to correct it. And did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. His sister almost became his last victim that day. Didn't want that incident to ruin her life. Yeah, no, you're good. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. Not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana. That's why he fabricated the evidence 2 years ago. Yeah. This is 4 letters. Yep. You say you did this all by yourself. Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body. No. What? Yeah. No, it wasn't. But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. It's only a situation you dreamed was possible. Oh, so she's protecting Emma even now. Okay. Reality is it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. That's what the handprint's for. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. I mean, Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark. Something like that. If that's so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. Probably knocked away in the struggle. It's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. All just to protect me. I swear she can read the blue text. So, when you found the scene like this, what did you do? Like, everyone here can just read the blue text. After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wounds, and then you moved the body. But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of the others. It's true. He wears his emotions on his sleeve, is what it is, but... When you showed up in the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Garnt's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body. Pieces of that jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Pieces of the jar? You mean... Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I thought it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. Let's see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed, but I have a feeling there's more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? Are you willing to risk the death sentence? She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying. Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. No way she could have done it all alone. Gotta get Lana to talk more. She's lying that she's bound to slip up and make contradictions. Okay. See if we can get her to answer the other one of this too. Yeah. Why did he plant the knife? But why did you do that? Come now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out. Well, let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason Miss Sky fabricated the knife. According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was the murder weapon, right? Yes, and leaving it at that might point the blame away from Dark. I felt the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his knife found inside the victim's body. So you buried it inside the victim's stab wound. Yes, as I hated Dark for what he did. On the tip of the weapon... I think we gotta go with the other one. It's clearly the jar. It's gotta be the jar then. The knife one doesn't quite make as much sense. Okay. When we first found the bodies, the jar was already... Ah. Yeah. No, I made it the other one. Well, okay. Just skipping it through. We're gonna see him stabbed a lot. I mean, it always feels weird just showing the jar. Like, no, jar! But it's the answer. Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. Also, hello, Binyan. How's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. And Potts, how you doing? Welcome, everybody. Potts, I'm assuming you're coming in from Street Fighting. And B, how you doing? What were you playing tonight? Hope your stream went well. We, getting very close to the end of not Base Ace Attorney, but Ace Attorney, the final case. And, yeah. so ready to get to the next game, but also so ready to get, like, this has been a twisty-turvy case by all. Twisty-turvy might be an understatement for this case, so I definitely have made no missteps at all. A contradiction in my testimony. You testified, and I quote. Oh, final case, yes. As long as the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Right? Do you have a problem with that? Are we playing Phoenix Wright 2? Oh, very nice. Which one? I've only ever played the first one, but I never played the bonus case. I played it way back on the DS, but I didn't play the bonus case. So this case is new to me, and then we're going to start the next game. We're going through the OG trilogy, so like there's going to be a lot of new stuff. I had played the original game. Have you seen the live-action movie? Ah, the third one. We're going to be getting there. Like, this is the trilogy, so that we're going to get there. But I don't know anything about that one, so I'm ready. I'm excited. Have you seen the live-action Phoenix Wright movie? Because if you haven't, you totally should. We watched that the other week. It's very, very good. It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecution must have written it in its final moments. Exactly so. This is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Huh. That's all you got? He couldn't have written Emma's name in a shattered jar. Order, order. Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well, the witness may now continue her testimony, in which she will continue to lie to us. But it's fine. I immediately noticed that the blood traces on the jar. It was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. Fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean, you were the one who wiped away the messages in blood? But she didn't get them all. She clearly missed one. I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. Didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Alright, well, okay. So the jar was already broken. It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. Apparently it looks as feeble as the defense's case. Judge, shut up! But not as feeble as the judge's judgment. Yeah, Phoenix, say it out loud. Say it out loud, Phoenix. You won't. You should. You should, but you won't. You're an ace detective who never missed a detail. Did you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. Yeah, you know, Dark. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No, if I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case. Lana, you do that for me? Things you do might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. It's rather shocking. Yeah, really, Judge? I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? You really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall? You wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? Lana! I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. The detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. Never miss anything. I got to every last piece. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene. Yes, I don't have any excuses for my actions. So sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I treated you so badly all this time. Too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony. Sister really is putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's only one final possibility that might turn everything around. I'm not seeing it. Wipe me the blood. It's gotta be the fact that she didn't get them all? I'm just gonna save in case I'm wrong. But he very clearly missed a piece, and it was the piece that was inside his locker, which he clearly did to help blackmail her at a later date. So it's gotta be that, right? We're just showing her the vase again. Like, have you not seen this vase enough? Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Guard's safe. In the chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. Something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. The witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up in the scene. Chief Gart got there before you. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. It may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Huh, can you believe that? Sir, this is a murder trial. Have you forgotten? I'm sorry. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. Hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gart. At the time, he was looking dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? Wow, ask the judge. No. We needed a good judge freak out. Come on, wait. I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gart arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar. He purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gart do that? In light of what had happened, or what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Sky believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Grant's aid. Lending her his aid, Grant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma. Therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Sky became the Chief's puppet. Oh, jeez. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. I don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that, coming from my own client. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Damn it, Josh. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gart's trap? Something wrong, Mr. Wright. Lana, maybe right after all. What do you mean, right? You do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Sky, if you will. I can't. Nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there's a possibility that it will if you tell the truth. Very well. Testify of what I really saw. Right, the witness may testify once more for the final time. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor's sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. I did always think... We haven't gotten that one before, I don't think. It's on Karma. I did think it was super weird that, like, oh yeah, Dark just passed out. He bumped his head. He got a little boo boo on the back of the noggin, and he just. I feel like that was glossed over, and maybe he did, and that won't be relevant. But when I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. So I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Garnt help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor's sword. You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. Thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Well, I must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. It's gotta be the book. There's nothing else it could be. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. It wouldn't let us open the book. It only... Oh, now we can. Okay. Well. Crack it open. Ooh. Yeah, she took that photo. Hey, there's a picture here. Oh. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Crime scene photo from case 2 years ago taken. Mr. Wright! That piece cut out from his vest, could that be... Cloth we found inside Chief Guard's safe. What's this? Oh, what's this? This is a handprint, isn't it? Cloth. It had fingerprints on it. Whosever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer! But those fingerprints... Yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Alright. Oh. Come now, Edgy. This is the poorest excuse for trial I've ever seen. Also, that was the shortest, most boring lunch I've ever had. Chief Gant. What now? You want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. Must be that risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Ah, Edgeworth. Who knew he had a dragon install? Ah, so what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. You mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't. But someone does. Someone? So, what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Is this true, Mr. Wright? Show that piece of evidence now. It's sure to be made out as the murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now, and if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? Better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Yeah, really can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present a piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? You know what? I want to say we can't. Like, the second we show that, that's also, it's mostly because he wants us to. So I don't want to. He wants us to. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence that I can present at this point in time. What? You lie! Garnt, you opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Garnt? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? Looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in history. No, it's not, because... Judge, come on, man. Get with the program. He's murdering people. At least a person. I can't say people for sure. Probably people, though. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? But I thought he gave up his ability to testify. I thought he can't make more comments. I thought I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. Oh, so you really were manipulating her. I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that's when she saw the scene. She would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Miss Sky. Yeah, of course. You know, got priorities. None of them are Phoenix. Told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance. I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. Didn't expect Alana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. If you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar, too? Ho ho ho. Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept 1 more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Righto, cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? You admit to it then, Chief Garnt, that you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe. Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that being chief and all, but it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Absolutely, Potts. 100%. Don't worry, the judge is, at worst, he's convinced. At worst, he thinks he tampered with evidence. That's the worst the judge thinks at this point. And even then, he's not sure. Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Righto. You should have shown it then, before it was too late. A long battle. The moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. I'm not confident of my answer, but at the same time, I just really want to screw this guy over. No, it's too late to show the evidence now. Besides, even if I did, just expose that poor girl's fingerprints. Right? Think hard over the circumstances. Circumstances? Think about then and now. There's only one major difference between the two. Weren't you waiting for that difference? Oh, we got him to talk. Yeah. I just figured out my plan. Right. Mr. Wright, this is your only chance. Okay, I do have evidence to present now. Okay, fine. Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. I mean, it can't be this. This is clearly not... Oh, damn it. Nothing to look at them back. Did the game tell me to remember it? Yeah. I've been a pro this whole time. Which that's with your opinion, please. I think Mr. Wright's humor has improved at the expense of his defense. Alright. Not that one. I don't want to... Not this, right? It wouldn't actually be... This is just... Verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh, yes. At last, you finally brought it into the open. Handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that it be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. It's handprint on the leather. It must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean... It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Ho ho ho. You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Righto had all this time to present this evidence. If he was reluctant to do so, why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that. Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well. I'll tell you. You'd be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is... You lie to him. No, it's no use lying here. They'll discover the truth the second they analyze this. Oh, you still penalized me for it. Damn it. Alright. I really just wanted to see what happened. I deserve that, though. I deserve that. Okay. Yeah, I predicted all this? Come on, Robin. Predicted all this. Emma Sky? What? They're mine? Sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? Wright Attorney. Oh. You're really something, Righto. You knew this girl did it all along. And you still tried to pin the murder on me. It's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. How could you? You monster! I deserve that. Miss Sky, you knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Sky, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. But I'm afraid it is, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. You admitted to like 30 counts of concealing evidence today. Shut your face, Guard. Shut your face. He angrily sips tea. My friend, this is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Can't got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Guard, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you mean? It was Emma Sky, wasn't it? I have no idea what's going on. I'm afraid that's not possible. And you see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? Contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? Talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is. I wish I could show you all the straws that I'm grasping at. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth, what could it possibly contradict? Chief Guard, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. My only guess is that there's no blood on the cloth. There's no blood on the cloth at all. My gut says this picture. Because what exactly? Yep, this is supposed to be. This is the picture. Oh, Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. Hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait. There's no blood on it. Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No, this is nonsense. Now then, Chief Guard, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky picked up the unconscious prosecutor and impaled him on the armor's sword? Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue and make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember when you admitted what you admitted only moments ago, that you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest. Ironic, isn't it? The very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. No! Just electrocute the man there. Yeah. It's finally all over. What? No. Oh. Oh, that was close, Rita. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. Order, order. What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Uji, earlier, old Rido here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Rido? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. That moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence. But that's not fair. You actually think you could beat me in court? Looks like the last laugh's on you, son. Oh, yeah, he absolutely is. I'm afraid Mr. Gart's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, true. Legal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed legal. Well, Mr. Wright? It seems at last. Time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Like he's had it. Sure. Mr. Wright, do you admit it? No idea what his plan is. That you purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of cloth. I did not. I admit, I refused to present it at one point. So the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gart. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? Certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, gee, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward you can't really believe. There's only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now. Well, I'm assuming I'm gonna show the law. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself. Inside your safe, goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SO9 incident. What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Sorry, but can you recall, when was that picture presented? It was shown only a few moments ago. No! He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this one more time. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh, yes. No! It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest... Oh. The book I'm missing chat, sorry. Okay. Yes, that I knew. Yeah, I was aware that this was added in specifically for the DS version. I know that this was an addition after the, original game was wrapped and concluded. That I was aware of. And the very obvious DS inclusions are also very obvious. Is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. There's only one person who that could be. Damon Garnt, the killer was you. No. Oh, jeez. He's gonna clap himself to death. It's too powerful. He's too strong. He's gonna break. Oh my god. Ooh. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. Good for nothing scum. For 2 years he's been snooping around the department, trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. As if I committed crimes like murdering his brother and framing someone and blackmailing someone and evidence tampering. I mean, it's also gotta be clapping at 120 FPS. I mean, the assumption is very much that if he did this and covered up with this, that clearly he's done plenty of others. And even if he hasn't, this is enough. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find the truth. Please, you gotta help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room, and all of a sudden he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm going to hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it, that accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. That's what happens when you stab someone. You should have known from the last time you stabbed someone. Didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake. Bloody handprint. Detective Gumshoe's on Detective Gumshoe's locker. Used to be known as the crime computer. But everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Didn't you put the body in my car? Yeah, that'll do it, yeah. Sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. Broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how could you get Miss Skye involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. We took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. Felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, we left the jar fragments and the glove. Yeah. Looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes rather than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me. You've murdered 2 people that we know about. You are objectively a criminal. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, gee. What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. Sorry too, Damon Garnt. You as you used to be, long ago. You were once a fine investigator and an example to others on the force. Sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Uchi. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Righto here. And Worthy. With these 2 around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. Almost like another game that could be started. You know. 2 things I want you to understand. Yes. First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Garnt betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. The time ahead Garnt's helped me forge evidence up until today. So, seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. Sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows, 2 years from now, you just might make it to the top. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar! I was worried the pressure might break you, and yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it. I only did my job. I don't take compliments well. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Most of the police department, and the prosecutor's office, and the police department, and the police department. And honestly, Judge, if we're being real here, kinda you. Kinda you too. Miss Sky. Yes, Your Honor. You are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. Long time since I felt free of those heavy chains. Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, not guilty. Yay! That is all. This court is adjourned. Yeah, smile and acknowledgement, you know? And for, definitely realizing the plan way ahead of time and not just bumbling through by presenting random evidence. It's that feeling of truly having solved a case by your own merits and your own brain power and not relying on any random shotgunning of evidence or anything. It's just as a random example, you know. Players hunched over the power outlet. Yeah, definitely. You understand, Ramen. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended. I can see why Mia Faye thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh hey, it's that guy who always interrupts things. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run all around while on duty. To top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lay up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. Came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana? Should you be doing this? You're still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day 2 years ago. It's the first time in my life I ever panicked. It's all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis, I asked Garnt to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. Sometimes I forget until I see that back shot, but like, Lana's 120% Lisa, right? Like, design-wise, in her, like, previous, like, the flashback version, that's just Lisa, right? Just a smidgen. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But, sis, you were only doing it for me. No. I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis. Such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Oh, Emma. Aww. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you asks? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path. It's from there that we can move on towards a brighter future. At least, that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe. But me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. Can't believe she spotted me. Thought I was perfectly hidden behind that pillar back there. Why was he hiding? I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. Lana gets the pass after being the most uncooperative defendants. Yeah, completely owns up. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. Apparently by the legal system here, though, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth? Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Garnt was right. You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. You're not alone. You've got Phoenix. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. In order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth? Who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Garnt did. The thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Garnt and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime, but they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. It may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. We were working together with Mr. Wright. Because of that partnership, we were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find out. God damn it, game. No! I mean... Evidence law. Yeah, that's the law. I'm gonna guess the cloth, but that's probably not it. No? The book that she sent to us? The picture that was in the book that she sent to us? The power of friendship that was in our hearts all along? Blue Badger? Meekins. They won't let me present Meekins. I would. Yeah, it's the badge. It might mean something to you, but I don't see how it had anything to do with our partnership. Huh? Mr. Wright, it seems you still have a lot to learn as well. Guess that wasn't the right piece of evidence. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth, did we get the bad... If you'll excuse me, there's still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Did we get the bad end? Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Well... Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember. You can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. Seems I owe you my thanks too, right? What I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. What was I supposed to present there? I actually don't know. I am good at these games, you can tell. Better be going to. The evidence list? Oh, the two halves of the evidence list? Yeah, that's true. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. Seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Yeah, we did each have half of that. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation. First book I ever bought. Study it well. Sis, I will. Yeah, literally assembled a court together. Well, sure that won't have any problems. It's fine. And so another case came to a close. And as for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, Detective? It's just a little matter to be resolved about the Chief Prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Excuse me. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Way to go, Detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here is the one who'll be footing the bill. Huh? Huh? Well, do you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? Huh? Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it? I suddenly feel like I want to scream. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys, let's go. There you go. Perfect. Oh yeah, let's be honest. She can find out any of that. I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then, I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. It's more a symbolic gesture than the actual wording. Use the DS my final objection. Oh, okay. Gotcha. That's fun, though. Yeah, just like they removed the functionality to do that in the cases. Yikes, I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation to the chief's office. If we penalize you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. Just goes to show. You can't shake me off that easily. True, but this one had a really long ending case, and I'm sure no other game is going to have a really long ending case. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's too early to start another one. And also, sorry, I was caught up in a moment. But yeah, if you want to use a ticket for Thursday, you can do that. That'll work. Unless my new mission is guard the main entrance to take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner is keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them though. Someday I'm going to make detective. Please don't. Yes, sir. Then I could be just like that Dick Gumshoe. The only reason I would say I'd have to cancel that is if they decide to do the stealth release of the Monster Hunter update on Wednesday night, in which case we'll be playing that Thursday. So if they do that, we'll have to push it to another day, but as long as that doesn't happen, yes, I can drive some trucks on Thursday. I'll make sure I've got it installed. But if they decide to just shadow drop the update, we're going to do the update. Problem solved, I guess. The battery ran out. Alt Alert 3. Well, we have finished one game. Oh, hey. What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with a steak lunch partner? Miss Star managed to sneak this into me. She's seeing one of the guards, it seems. She dates a lot of people. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. Even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? No judgment. Just a statement that she dates a lot of people. And, oh. Looks like we won't be seeing the Edgeworth each other for. That's true. I can load it to one of those saves. Where did I save it though? That's the problem. Top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. Yes, turnabouts, you say. Who would have thought? Yeah, I think I'd have to go back through a bunch of stuff. Never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. I don't have that kind of money. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to go to, so I'd better be. Huh? Oh no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go. Judge, I'd say never change, but actually no, please change. Please. Please change. Please. Ah, yes, I'll never forget what that guy said. What's his name? Oh, yeah, he said that thing. Oh, damn it, I forgot the one important thing. I forgot my robes. I'm up here naked. Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you in your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Mystic Maya afternoon training is about to begin. Coming. Well, see you around, Nick. Only this case. Yeah, they cranked it a bit higher for this one. But he's still not far off. I don't know if I'd call him super absent-minded normally. I would absolutely call him very gullible. Very gullible. Absent-minded, not as much. Except this case, for sure. Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. I brought you your tea. What's going on? Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Oh. Something in the book. Aw. That's cute. Fantastic book. And Capcom. Rise from the Ashes. Finally got the achievement. Oh boy. Yeah, that was a long one. Just a little bit. I did it. I'm gonna see if it'll... We were pretty far off, weren't we? There was at least, like... We'll see if we can just... We got a half hour anyway. I'm just gonna see if we can just power through this and give him the right thing. We're not too far away, and I can just hold circle to go through most of it. But it is a bit. But... I mean, we've got the half hour anyway, so... That was a good one, though. Like, definitely wackier, but, you know, I like the wackier side of things, right? Personally, the more it leans into the wacky and wild, I like that. The more they try to play it straight, it's fine, but it's not what I'm here for. I rose from the ashes, yeah. Then I blew away all those ashes, right into Gumshoe's face. Oh yeah, the 120 FPS clapping. Looks not as impressive. Oh, there you go. He took some time to break, man. Ooh. Took some effort to break that guy. Still think it looks like a goddamn Muppet in that face, though. His neutral face is such a Muppet face. Not that there's any Muppets that would be murdering people, so you know. Slightly different from that, but... It's got a Muppet face, sorry. It just does. It's the mouth. It's the mouth that does it. I don't know what we're going to do in the future without his dun, dun introduction. What do we even do? Be happy we don't have to see him again, I suppose. That's what we'll do. Yeah. I don't know if they'd murder somebody. Stadler and Waldorf are... mean-spirited, maybe. But I don't think they'd murder someone. Yes, their names are Stadler and Waldorf. If you're ever curious. Everybody knows who you talk about when you say the two old guys. Like, 100%. They do technically have names. They're also some of the best Muppets. They are so, so good. Yeah, no, I don't know why I remember the names. I don't, but I do, so I don't know why. Useless information. Utterly useless information. And as you can tell, I have now gone through an entire game and a half, and I have gotten no better at these games. No better. What evidence do I need? What's the plot going on here? What even just happened? Chicago. It's fine. But the point is, we did it. Oh, hey, Lisa. Point is, we did it. That's what matters. Happy moment, yay. I mean, I assume even getting the better thing here can't change much, right? Excuse me. Like maximum a few lines of dialogue? It can't change much. Because if what he did at the end of the credits is what he did, then that's kind of set for the next game. Kind of a important detail then. And aha! That's the picture I drew. Counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list and I had the other. We wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. It didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll excuse me, there's still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, can't let me up. I know, it seems like you have my thanks too, right? What I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you. Yeah, saw this bit. Well, okay, so I assume the rest of it's the same. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's gotta be, the rest of it's gotta be the same. So, yeah. Next time, we will be starting up the second game. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, Justice for All. Everyone's Trials and Tribulations. Okay, I knew the names, but I forgot what order they were in. But yeah, next week, we starting it up. Second game, kicking things off. Gonna be a good time. Obviously, thank you all for tuning in, thank you all for watching. Been a good heckin' night. Got that case clear, and it still took almost the whole goddamn stream. Holy crap, that's a long case. Tomorrow is Labyrinth. Tuesday is Live Alive, where we might be finishing that too. Thursday, it sounds like Sora's using a ticket for Euro Truck Simulator, unless Monster drops his update on Wednesday, which they might do for that final update, but lately they've been giving a week between the preview and the actual update. So as long as they give the week, Euro Truck. If they don't, it's going to have to be Monster Hunter. So, for the Heartless series, cool. It's going to be a lot of bumbling on my part. Wonderful. Then Friday will be Monster Hunter regardless. Saturday will be Eureka Orthos. Sunday will be back to this. Yeah. Right for finishing games. I know. We've been working pretty hard to finish some games, okay? The problem is that we're playing a lot of super long games right now. We are working hard to finish games. Got ourselves a monster. Cool. I started it. No, I didn't. Okay. No, I just didn't start it. A monster and a Discord. Obviously, we have the extra shoutouts as well of B Neon for tossing the heckin' raid this way, and Mitz dropping their 72-month resubscription, as well as everyone in chat, hanging out, having a good time. Also, we always have to add the important. Gotta do it. Yeah, this has been Viper for Viperland. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.